And hello and welcome. I am Suckerman, and I just wanted to walk through a little tutorial of some of the basics of some factories here. I know we're in early access 0.9. I know 0.10 should be coming out. Well, it could be a couple weeks, could be the end of the month. Who fully knows? But we could sort of see. I know some people might sort of stay in this, or maybe some of the early factory sort of stuff. So hopefully this guide will help you. I think this one we're just going to go over some basics. Next, I might sort of part 1, part 2, maybe part 3 for a little tour if we go. So part 1, we just might go over some of these sort of machines, some basics of the lines. And then part 2, we might look at some bigger factories. And part 3, we might sort of tour some that maybe we've done in our Let's Play, or maybe even look at some that we've seen in the workshop that might be a little more complicated, and just try to break them down a bit. So like if you have any questions, feel free to share. I should have a sort of playlist here. I'd have a pretty big Let's Play where like episode 110 or 111 at the time I'm making this. So I've got a fair bit through that. I know we took it a little slow, but let's call this an introduction and let's sort of jump in. So I'm hoping you got some of the basics of the game before we're looking here. We can try to go over that another time if we don't. But your factory's pretty much going to use... Wow, those are a little extra. Your factory's going to just sort of rely on an input station, which you can set to pretty much any item in the game here, or any raw good at any step of the process can be put into an input station. And you'd sort of cart it off to maybe a sort of machine that you'd use, and you'd end with an output station. So you sort of see every sort of conveyor belt here has an arrow. When I try to move it, so the blue is the input, the orange is the output. You could rotate these, easy rotations, and like I know the blue will still come from there, but the output just changes. There's no sort of flipping, so that's okay. We're going to keep in mind we will need an employee on every input station and an employee on every output station, but at least for now we don't actually need anybody working any of the machines that actually do the processing. So you could do some pretty long lines, you could do some weird mixes and stuff, and just have things go to the output, which is cool. But your lines will pretty much look something like this, having an input that will push the items into a machine. So right now we have a kiln, and it'll even sort of warn us that this line isn't finished, and it could even go right into this. So this would be a pretty functioning line. But it won't be a functioning line because, well, nobody's working on it. There's no materials here. And we actually haven't said anything. So this isn't going to work at all, right? But that's okay. We would also then need to think, what do we want to make in the kiln? Well, we could hit F1, and there's a pretty big list of factory recipes. Right now, the sort of thing we're going to look at is gift cheap. That's kind of going to be the one thing we're going to do. I should have some clay in here. So we're going to need a kiln, which we have. We're going to need the input station, the output station, and a laser cutter. So sometimes you might need 2. So for things like, if we're going to look at some like the headphones and stuff, it'll list a lot of ingredients. It only says 1 consumer goods machine, but it's really going to need 2. And that's okay. Like, it sort of just tells you the required machines, and you technically could sort of do all the phase 1, phase 2, and then sort of put them together a little later into a consumer goods machine. So like you could use the 1 and just have it temporarily do 1, pretty much move it from that line or close that line up, move it into the new line, and then continue from there. I do realize I wanted to grab something quick, so I am actually going to pause because I've got, maybe we'll try to peek and see if we can find it quick. You're going to see all our raw ingredients. I actually ordered each raw ingredient, and I just forgot to move it to the right spot. That's okay, so we do actually have a lot of options of raw ingredients. The only one I just wanted to grab some of was clay. So you'll actually notice most raw ingredients are either 150 or 300 in a box. Majority of the sort of foods I feel like I've noticed are like 150, and I have 2 boxes of them. And then things like clay or like transistors or gems, even metal bands, and like all that sort of more expensive-y stuff is 300 in a box, which is fine. We can just kind of grab a box. I won't quite let us do this because this is sort of what our workers are going to do. He's going to grab a box and bring it to an input station. Now, this isn't going to work because we actually don't have anyone employed. Well, that's fine. So we could employ someone here. Could employ someone up here. And I guess let's grab a couple. I'm going to grab a couple employees. I actually don't know which input station will be which. Is going to be the complicated part of this. But I'm going to just sort of pause. I'm going to figure out which one's which so I can get my employees in quick. And we'll be right on back. Okay, so we're going to actually see here. I know we have the temporary closed on. So one sort of thing I did, I just kind of went through the factory, and some of the ones that aren't quite labeled already, I just put a little number on, so you can do that with any of your sort of machines, which is kind of nice. And if you sort of highlight over these, it'll sort of tell you it'll sort of use the name. It doesn't need to be a number. Even an interior designer would show you them too, which is cool. It doesn't need to be a number. It just going through the schedule. Sorry, in Bizman, just going through the schedule. So I could even call this raw. Oh, I'm missing the delete key. Raw potatoes. Oh my god, I am missing my keys really badly. Potatoes here. And if we map, if we even just sneak over, I could find the fry cutter is yeah, you could even see so the name's just sort of raw potatoes here. It's kind of a funny quirk. We'll jump back to those, but we're gonna open up. So we are temporarily closed. As soon as we open, you'll see the worker's gonna come in. He's gonna think for a second. Well, his line isn't quite working yet, and that's okay. What he is going to need, I mean, we do actually see his demands, which is funny, but we'll actually set this up as clay. So he's going to go pick up a clay. Why are we going to set it as clay? Because if we'll sort of look here, we want to make ceramic mugs. So every second here, Arthur's actually going to be putting one of these on a conveyor line, and it could go forward forever. It could go on down conveyor lines. We could use a splitter to split it off into 2, and then just eventually into a machine. So it'll come in the machine, and you'll sort of see. That's okay. Here. You'll see as we hover over the machine, it's now green there, and it's going to take 10 minutes to produce. So it's going to take the clay, and it's going to make a ceramic mug. And we'll sort of see, if we looked here now, we got our worker, because this was 12, and we fixed the line. Now he's got 1 ceramic mug. In a few seconds, there's 2. So this is the start of a line, and this would work okay. So like we could go from this to a second line here, which will end up taking ceramic mugs. So we could even search, and it's nice that you can type. So you could take ceramic mugs, and then we'll look, the recipe will be gift cheap. So if we'll actually hire the next people, that will go into 3 and 21. So we'll go on our schedule. We'll just go down to 3, and we'll just throw somebody in all day. You can schedule people more properly than this. It's just a little quicker to go here. And 20. I already have 21. It's not 21. 28. My mistake. So 3, and let's scroll down to find just 28. That's sort of numbering definitely helps a lot here. And, I'm just going to copy the schedule. And I'm just going to put it on Monday too, so everybody's not upset with me about hours. Okay. So now we're going to see this machine that wanted the ceramic mugs is still red. Well, we have ceramic mugs, but part of the problem is this jack here might wait for either the box to fill, or if there is something else on the line here, there's a good chance they'll sort of change it. I believe molded smoke. No, oh no, that uses plastic. I thought I had something else that uses clay. I do not. So that's okay. So right now, Jack's kind of waiting. We could just grab it ourselves and put it here. Or we could grab one from here too. Oh, we'll wait for it to fill up. We could grab one from here. And if we just put it on the shelf too. Oh, I missed. So if we grab it ourselves, or we can wait for like 300 of them. And both would work, but if we grab a couple ourselves, we can actually beat the system. Now, this is one way to do it. It works. It's okay, but you're going to actually notice this machine says it takes 10 minutes. This machine says 5 minutes. And we're doing a lot of manual work that we don't really need to do. So, if we were to stop here, and I guess a little problem that we might face right now is if we want to actually move any of these things, we kind of have to close the shop is sort of my easy way to do it. And perfect. So if we just temporarily close for a second, we could jump to our next line. So if we come here, and we'll sort of see, we could pretty much have built, I mean, we could have built it there too. Now if we were to open, we could see that this is still Arthur's line. I just kind of shifted him down a bit. And this is still Jack's line. But we're going to actually go from clay here. It's going to build, it's going to make it. And it's going to go, it could go with the conveyor in the middle. It doesn't need it. We could go a little tighter if we really wanted. Like we could move this machine even to the right if we really needed. Oh, there's some minutes, so no we can't. But, this takes 10 minutes, this takes 5 minutes. So this is wasting some time. So if we were to pause again, and let's try jumping down another line to our sort of next one. And we can sort of start to think about some pretty cool stuff here. That we sort of start with this basic line, and you could start with this real basic sort of line, even cutting out conveyor belts, right? You don't even need this, so like that's just cutting costs. And then we can sort of go to something a little cooler here, which on this carpet, we'll sort of see colored is using the next fancy thing. So we have the conveyor, we have the input, it's going on a splitter. So the splitter is going to take this one little input here, and it's going to split it into two. It is actually going to make these go half a block apart. So we sort of are on the main block now. And these guys, if we sort of look, if we look in interior design, let's grab a conveyor belt to do it. You're actually going to see, so it's going from one, but because it's going to split here, now they're sort of off center, which is okay. That works. And like, hey, the output's just a little bit farther. That's fine, right? Not a big thing. We don't actually need to save our changes. And we'll sort of see. Now, this laser cutter is going to be on a fair bit more because this is taking 10 minutes, this is taking 10 minutes, and this only takes 1 minute each. So this also takes 1 minute each. But we're going to pretty much as soon as one's in, one's out. All right, so boom, it's even got it queued up now, which is pretty great. There's a little bit of wiggle room on these. You'll sort of notice, and that's okay. But now we're pretty much cooking twice as fast for only one extra machine. So this is sort of a bit of a speed. Then you're sort of thinking, they're sort of, you're looking, where's Arthur? Well, Arthur is actually going and like continually pulling off the shelf. And that's fine. But then you think, I'm making this amount. Do I need to make a second one of these? Or you can go even fancier here. And we're just going to close for the second. And let's move our inputs and our outputs again. So if we move our input here, and I'm going to just sneak my outputs. Oh, my output was there too. And it's just a little faster to move our inputs and outputs, I find. So let's do that quick. Boom. So now if we were to think, and let's open up. Oh, we're going to get a couple messages from the city in a second. That's okay. I just got a lot of trucks. So now if we're sort of looking, Arthur's machine here is still working. It would not work without it. Probably wouldn't work if we didn't have Arthur, so we could manage the schedule. If we were to look at Arthur's machine here, where is it? Here's Arthur. It's Sunday at this time, so if we actually like close his hours for a bit, you're actually going to see because there's no employee on it, it's not going to work. And like, it's not the most ideal thing to have it not working. I mean, the rest of the machines that actually have something in them already don't quite care that there's no input, so like theoretically you could make a snake, but you sort of want that. And we're gonna look now and we'll see our line here is going to actually go, it's going to split down. And pretty much this whole line is actually just sideways here. So like, no, you don't need to always build one way. And then it's going to go and sort of feed into that. Well, this line's going to split off. But uh-oh, if we were to try to continue here how we had the splitter, it actually wouldn't be on center. So we just sort of recenter and we just build outwards and down, outwards and down, outwards and down. And we're going to see our line slowly filling up. That now we're going to have 1 laser cutter, 2 laser cutter, 3 laser cutter, 4 laser cutter, 5 laser cutter. That's producing 1 per minute pretty much. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kilns. Just getting ready to go here. Now it might take Arthur a second to sort of fill up all these sort of rows. It's okay because the splitter is going to go pretty even if it can. If it can't go even, it'll obviously skip it. But it's always going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's not going to care that this one has such a farther line than this one. It's always going 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we're just getting all these machines coming down all the way to our output station. Like we sort of hinted at before, our output station doesn't need to only be one type of item. So this line we could just have one main line to our output station, which is easy. Doesn't quite matter. And we're sort of seeing we should be almost full on gifts soon. Oh, no, not that soon. But we're producing gifts a lot faster now, which is awesome. Let's we're going to do one quick thing. I'm going to just rest in our truck for a second here. Should you normally rest in your truck? Maybe not. But I just want to get it a little brighter in this place. So let's take a little truck nap. Let's sleep till like 9 or 10. Okay, we'll get a little bit of warnings on the side for all our trucks. That's okay. Oh, look at that. I got a couple more shipments in. We'll park it, and there we go. So now it's a little easier to see. Okay, and like, hey, here's our machine that's going. And our machine did still work in the night, so we should kind of see here. If we'll actually look in the storage, it might be a little different than it was. Yeah, there's 160 there. And so Arthur here has been walking a little far. Because Arthur's going to actually have walked to some pallet shelves to put those away, just like, so that we do need to have some shelving accessible for Arthur. And like the items we are going to ship here, so I could actually manage it and just pull out a box, and you'll see Arthur's going to walk right on over to where they could find the closest one. If they can't, they're just going to stay at their station. But they're going to walk all the way. Do I have any in here? I don't have any in here, but I do have some cheap gifts in here already. Because, who is it? Jack Joseph has actually filled some out and put them. And look at that. We can actually catch Jack Joseph going to fill a shelf. So you're going to fill your own shelves with the raw goods. And they're going to pull the raw goods and then grab them from the shelves. And I can catch him coming here. Yeah, look at that. So he just came to the shelf, pulled it off. And now he's going to walk back to his machine. So you do need to have your factory a little accessible. And that's okay time. Next sort of quick overview to think here. I'm probably not going to look into each of these. And like I might not run each of them quite now. Because I don't have the people fully set on these yet. And that's okay. But if we'd sort of look, we do have all the sort of if you'd sort of look through all the recipes, you'll see some machines. Kind of like the kiln we have. And kind of like the laser cutter. Where is the laser cutter? Oh, I have it up top. Laser cutter do have the sort of one input, one output. So like there's the blue side. There's an orange side. Oh, do you have a conveyor in between each of these or on the output side just to see a little easier? But so you'll be able to sort of see. So the automatic baking machine, for example, here will have like a bunch of different recipes, which is awesome. Most of these are 1-to-1. I believe the French fry cutter, I thought it was a 1-to-2, but maybe I'm a little wrong. It could have been a little different. Oh, yeah, it is. So the only sort of weird one I think I know right now is the food cutting machine, I believe. Is it just for French fries? No, so it does actually do 1-to-4. And I kind of haven't fully tried them. But maybe we'll sort of see how it does. Right? And like you could to have these just doing one main one, doing a lot of these cuts, or you could have them doing some splits like we sort of had in the other area before. I think I'm going to just turn my sound off for now. That sound effects is a little bit more bothersome. So it's just a lot of ticking. Okay. So we'll have some things like the grill, which can cook patties, grill chicken, grill sausage. You have like the bottling machine, which will sort of be the end of the process of a lot of your drinks, where you might actually put the blended margarita in. I know we have the automatic frying machine, which will make some plain donuts. I don't think plain donuts are the end. And then like French fries. You'll have the sort of baking machine, which might make something like burger bun, or could do some process. So like some could be in the inside of the process. The easy one is the polishing machine. It's going to take some of your polished gems and just make, or some of your uncut gems and such, and make them a little fancier. We will have some of our sort of laser cutters. It's a pretty big one. It's a little hard to read into. You could always try to like type some of the recipe. So like if we go cheap, we could see we might have like some fabric cheap to make clothes, or some cheap gems, or the sort of final step to the cheap gift. So it's going to always be telling you the product that you're making. So then if you hover over, it'll sort of tell you the product inside. Now it won't tell you what it needs if the line's not built. So you could just be a little sneaky, and if you just like have a conveyor touching it, you will sort of need a conveyor on both sides. So if you just sort of have a conveyor on both sides, if you're not sure, you can always just place it, and then you can move them and then put the stuff in that you need. So like we can put the output back and put the input back. And we'll sort of remember they do need to be able to be accessed, so we can't actually really put this here, because this will sort of say it works, but it won't. Like they need to be able to get to the footprint and walk to here for now, which is a little sneaky. And that's mostly the basics. Our big hardening tunnel is really funny for ice cream. It does take a little bit of time, but they work. This now leads us to some of our weirder ones. So far, all these other machines, polisher, like the sewing machine, which actually makes all the clothes right now, are pretty okay. I know the food cutter's a little weird, because it's, I think, the only one that actually does one. Oh, I guess the fryer did too. Maybe some of the foods do. So some of the foods do take one input to multiple outputs, which is kind of funny, and it's okay. But then we're going to get to something different. You're going to actually see some of these machines, like the tobacco rolling machine here, actually takes one input and two inputs to one output, because like their recipes actually take at least like two parts. So you're going to need the cigar paper and the tobacco. So one side you could put in the cigar paper, one side you could put in the tobacco, and then you'll output it. Some of the sort of harder ones, like the industrial blending machine, might have an easy recipe. Like they might have I thought the carbonated beer. Yeah, carbonated beer, which is just one side. So you might not need all five outputs on the, or five inputs on this. If you're going to make carbonated beer, where you need carbon dioxide coming in one side, and then fermented beer coming in somewhere else. It doesn't matter which inputs you use. You can use any one of them you want. You just got to make sure you use them. But something like, I think, is it fermented whiskey? I don't actually remember which one used a bunch of them. Fermented beer, I know, uses 3, so that you'd have one extra you wouldn't use. But you do always have the output on one side. Like you could rotate this machine, and the output's still there. Output could be up top, so like it doesn't matter quite which direction you go. Yeah, you do need to make sure your conveyors line up. But that's fine. We'll also have the batch pasteurizer, which is just making ice cream. So ice cream is a little funny one. It's got 2 of its own dedicated machines too, and they're pretty bulky. But it should be a pretty easy one. Like you could do something fun, like have some of the lines go side by side. Could have some lines do some more separate things. I mean, we could stack the lines like we sort of did here, where we could try to stack the machines. It gets a little harder to stack some of them when you have sort of like this style. That's okay. I know we sort of have the food assembler and then the consumer goods. I know the consumer goods is actually going to have some recipes that are going to require things made in a consumer goods, like we might have mentioned earlier. I think the food assembly machine might also. I'm not quite sure. I think there was something I saw, and maybe I'm fibbing, but I think I could be lying about that one. But you'll see if we need the artifish foam, We'll actually need the battery, which is easy, but we'll need a circuit board, and we'll need, so like, if we need to get a circuit board, we can't actually import a circuit board. You'd have to make a circuit board. So like we'd see, there's a lot of different little recipe parts that you can go for. And you might need to stack some machines, and it might take more than one of them to buy. And like, that's okay. I sort of say if you go to the blueprint mode of the game and sort of test out the factory, or even peek at some other people's or designs, it's probably a real easy way to see it. But you pretty much, that's the most overview of the factory I have. Like, I don't know if I really went into it, but you'll sort of need either a purchasing agent to sort of just order supplies. Right now I have them going to a local storage, but you could have supplies go right to the factory instead of, they work just like a warehouse would. So I could have some of these go right to the factory, and it even tells me I have 300 of them in stock right now. Sometimes I like to use I just kind of use the warehouse for now, and then you'll actually just need a sort of factory person, just like your warehouses, and you sort of would have done through the game story mode. You'll have the same sort of thing. Factories are pretty much warehouses, but you can produce stuff in them. So you could technically even use a factory as a warehouse. Like, you're going to have the truck bays, you're going to put the trucks in, you're going to put the drivers on the trucks, you'll have the logistics people go in and out. So it is even in the warehouse section, all the factories. And it's pretty much just a factory with extra steps. And like, some of them will sort of say some inventory they have. We'll sort of see it's not the best working in this mode, but we do actually sort of have a bit of a guide here that might tell us a bit. This one's actually working pretty well, where we are actually producing one cheap gift every minute, and it'll tell us none of these other ones are actually running right now, which is fine. It'll actually tell us some of our stock, which is cool. So the input stock and the input stock here, which is pretty cool. It doesn't quite say our total production per hour, which is a little funny, but we've got a fair bit of them. Maybe we'll see if it updates eventually, but we're doing pretty well in this factory. You can run factories whatever hours you want. I mean, right now you can run them every day, 24 hours. The only sort of thing you need is just the candidate. It's just a factory worker. Super easy, right? They have, I don't think I actually put these in. Yes, right now there is 3 sort of items they might require. They can get them all from ICA. So if we were to even look at ICA, so I do recommend kind of shoving these in each of your factories. Where is ICA here? Oh, yeah, they're still open. So you'll need a coffee maker. Just a cheap one works. You will need... let's see if I can find it on the list here. A water cooler. The water fountain should work now, but I'm not 100% sure. And then you will also need a fridge. You don't need a stove. You don't need bathroom stuff. You don't need cleaners. You don't need anything in Early Access 09. No struggling there. You just sort of need these 3 items. So a coffee machine, a water cooler, a standard fridge. Right? So I could get them to one basics factory. Tomorrow I can hit order. It's a little pricey. Like, we might actually even see if I looked at some satisfaction. I guess some of these people aren't working right now. Like, I don't have the standard fridge this person wants. So if I were to look in the employee list, I can actually sort of see the equipment demand sort of here. Does it actually say? Oh, no, that's... it doesn't actually have it in there. It's a funny one. That's okay. Can I organize by demand? No, I can't. I guess that's a funny one. I didn't know it. I thought I could before, but you could do it for offices, I guess, more. It's not as critical, but even if we look in satisfaction, we'll sort of see there's no standard fridge. They want a fridge in the building. They want a water cooler, and they want a coffee machine. Like, they might also ask for, like, insurances and all those things. Just like your regular employees. Just they have these sort of 3 demands. Alright, super easy. Super fun factory. I mean, we can even watch this factories go, and it's still slowly go. It's slowly filling up, and they're having a hard time keeping up. They are technically at 1 a minute, so like, hey, these 10 lines are pretty much exactly getting it as they need it, which is really funny to me. Maybe you should you could possibly see it back up a tad bit. Like over time, it should maybe go. But yeah, as soon as they're done, they're filling in, which is real fun. Some systems might not get as lucky to be the exact one, but this one's been pretty good. And like, here's all our sort of machines again. Some are big, some are a little small, some are real small. I'm excited to see where this goes. I know this guide might not be the most up to date for long, but I should hopefully post a new one soon. I may not have a lot of the basics for it done. And I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask or share. I know even the Big Ambitions Discord's real good about helping with questions. And I hope to catch you in the next ones. Thanks for watching. Peace.